And now I go back 4,000 years. This is at Mohenjo-daro in the Indus Valley in northwest India. It's a bathing place. Mohenjo-daro is one of a little cluster of small cities. This is one of the two largest that emerged in India 2000 BC. And now we come to the historical matter. Already in this Indus Valley civilization, also called the Dravidian civilization, also called the Mohenjo-daro civilization, also called the Harappa civilization. You see, names don't matter, the reference. We have the emergence of a culture of the style of ancient Crete and Mesopotamia. It's contemporary with those worlds, 2000 BC. And one of the most important buildings in this ruined city is a bath, a public bath. And it's assumed that the importance of this had religious meaning or value, and that a continuity of that, from that, is what we meet when we come to the Ganges. It's a continuous thing for 4,000 years, the sacred water, the bathing in the sacred water. Benares is here on the Ganges, deep into India as we come in from the west. Mesopotamia, the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, is here. It is in this area that the first civilizations of the world appear. And they appear around 3500 BC. It's becoming clearer and clearer, I think, that all of the high civilizations of the world are reflections from this source. 3500 BC in Mesopotamia, 2500 BC in the Indus area, 1500 BC with the Shang dynasty in China, and then it jumps the ocean, and in Mexico and Peru we have the Olmec and Chavin phenomena of about 1200 BC. And it's out of these that the high civilization systems come. And when we speak of high civilizations, we speak of a civilization in which there is, except in one case, writing, and in every case, developed mathematics and extreme attention to the cycles of the planets through the constellations. This cycling of the planets through the constellations is the great critical factor in the transformation of consciousness at this time. Because of writing and because of mathematics, it became possible to make records, precise records, of the passage of the planets through the constellations. And in Mesopotamia, as early as 3200 BC, apparently, it became evident that the planets were moving at a mathematically predictable rate. And the notion of a cosmic order, the order of the cosmos, comes into expression. And when people talk about mythology and rituals, they usually talk about it from the standpoint of modern mentality. And they speak about finding the causes of the world, origin myths and so forth. Explanatory myths, what are called etiological myths. That's not what myths are about. Myths do not have to do with analyzing and scientifically discovering causes. Myths have to do with relating the human being to his environment. And his environment before the discovery of these great planetary movements was largely the environment of the animal and plant worlds. So the very early mythologies have to do with relating to the animal world, and the problem there is the animal is respected, and the animal is nevertheless killed and eaten. And the problem of recognizing what might be called a covenant between the animal world and the human world, and recognizing the miracle of life which lives by killing and eating life is a major problem that has to be solved, relating the mind to this act of continually killing and consuming, wearing the skins of the animals, living in tents made of them, and so forth and so on. That's one aspect. The other is the plant world. Again, you're killing and eating life. And both the animal and the plant are, like the river Ganges, pouring into the world for your sustenance and are revered, and they become the revered powers and symbols to which man must relate himself. But then comes this discovery of the great cycles of the heavens. And what you find is a great concern to relate the whole organization of the society to this cycling. A tremendous accent on seasonal festivals. These festivals are not meant to control nature. They're meant to put you in accord with nature. And when you are in accord with nature, nature will yield its bounty. This is something that's coming up in our own consciousness now in the ecology movement, recognizing that by violating the environment in which we are living, we are really cutting off the energy and the source of our own living. And it's this sense of accord, so that living properly in relation to what has to be done in this world, one fosters the vitality of the environment. And so there you have this business of accord with the natural world. Well, when the great cosmic order was discovered, the problem of coming into accord with that becomes the high system. And we have an echo of it in the prayer, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." The heavenly signs became the signs of the order of the great spiritual world. And now, of course, we're moving past that, since we're sending rockets up there, and men have walked on the moon, which was the first spiritual light, you might say. And what we're learning is that the separation of spirit and earth has been transcended. That these two, in some sense, are much more one than the dualism of our inherited philosophy would suggest. So much for the first stage in this whole story. At the